Hi everyone, this is The Unseen. In this video, I want to talk about the importance of acquiring knowledge quickly in regards to women, as well as your personal goals in life. As men, we're often told to go out there into the world and make mistakes, and to learn from those mistakes, gain experiences so that as we age, we hopefully become wiser than we were before. However, I tend to find that it's a little bit uncommon to be given advisement as to a time frame to do this under, or any methods per se to optimize the process of this occurring. A man could certainly learn many things in his lifetime, but if learned at a snail's pace, should that really be something that we should be aiming for? I say no. I'm of the mindset of learning and gaining experiences swiftly for reasons which I will describe. For one, the elephant in the room is time. The sooner you learn something, the sooner you may begin applying it to your life in a meaningful way. For example, putting yourself out there with women and gaining firsthand knowledge of female nature, in addition to reading up on material put out by others in the community, can save a young man a hell of a lot of time, and even his life if done early and quickly, and the earlier the better. We've all seen older simps out there, guys who otherwise would not be simps had they acquired knowledge earlier on in life before their simping ways became bad habits too challenging to break. This goes the same for divorced men, men who have experienced gut-wrenching breakups, and so on. Now, I'm not saying that you can merely avoid all harmful experiences. Sometimes the dice rolls against you before you know what to do about it. However, a man can definitely dabble in some lightweight to intermediate experiences that he can actually recover from and use other men's stories as lessons learned so that he does not have to repeat the same path. Unfortunately, sometimes life throws us lessons that we are meant to learn from. However, the experience is not quite harsh enough for some of us to actually learn. This is the type of situation where someone will say, well, he'll just have to learn the hard way. I think it goes without saying that you should definitely try to not be this guy if you can help it. However, if it turns out that you have to go through a harsh experience, while not always the case, it can be better to get this out of the way in your earlier years. These can be experiences like financial trouble, job trouble, being exposed to the reality of female nature via a relationship that turned sour, etc. You would at least have a decent possibility of recovering from such events and going forth with your life applying the proper knowledge. As you grow older, you tend to gain resources, and if said events happened at that point, it's possible that the setbacks could negate the effort you've spent trying to get there in the first place. Remember that time only flows in one direction. Once it has went forward, it does not go back, and neither can you. You can picture the game of Sonic the Hedgehog, in which Sonic collects rings as he moves throughout the stages. You can accumulate plenty of rings with skillful maneuvers. However, as soon as a mistake is made, or you get caught off guard and an enemy hits you, you lose a significant amount of rings instantly, as opposed to the non-instant amount of time it took to acquire them. Also, think of the film The Matrix, where Morpheus understands how risky and challenging it is to bring Keanu Reeves' character out of the Matrix. This is because so much of Neo's life and perceptions have been centered around a world that is in fact a virtual reality. And even in the face of the real world, Neo may be likely to cling to what he has known before. Now, if he was instead born like the rest of the crew of the ship, born free from the beginning, he would never have molded his thoughts and actions around the fake system that is the Matrix in the first place. So I want you all to take some time to think about that one and observe the people around you and how this may relate to them. Another benefit to learning and gaining experiences swiftly are the results that can arise from it. The guy that learns about all the various ways in which women can harm him or distract him, matters of divorce and family law, dating, relationships, marriage itself, his own life goals, that guy will be far less likely to end up in a situation where he's being taken advantage of by one of the aforementioned things. Because he knew about them and understood them, he could then take the proper steps to avoid falling into their traps. Like playing a game of blackjack, let's say. You have the knowledge of how likely it is that a particular hand will be in your favor or will not be, and thus you are able to make decisions from a position of power. This is opposed to the guy who's unaware of the rules of the game and is unable to make an informed decision. Even if he thinks he is making one, in truth, he is not. It's like one of those role-playing video games where after you spend hours grinding and playing the game, proving yourself through all the trials, your character gets a special weapon or magic via a side quest towards the end of the game, which makes you incredibly powerful. While this is great, it does leave you wishing that you would have had it earlier in the game when it could have been of far greater use, because now you're almost finished with the game. Well, this is the same thing. So, what are some ways in which you can expand your mind and therefore expand your life? Well, depending on your situation, to name a few, you could move to a new city, go travel to new locations, both locally in your state, broader domestically, and even broader internationally. Participate in new activities, pick up productive hobbies, read up on various subjects. Basically, you want to have a mindset where as you go about your day-to-day life, you look around and say, hey, what don't I know? Or what have I always wanted to learn about but have been putting off? Or hey, what's that over there? I need to learn about that. I keep hearing about that place. I have to make a plan to go check it out. Essentially, your intention is to set the pace of your own life rather than to just let things happen to you. You are the one in the driver's seat. One thing I like to mention is that if any of my listeners happen to have Netflix, I would recommend watching the film Divorce Corp, which is a documentary that investigates the sinister nature of divorces in the family court system in America. It was released in 2014, so it's fairly recent as well. I recently showed it to a friend of mine. He was completely blown away by it. I'm sure he learned a lot from it. And just like what I'm talking about in this video, he can now apply this information to his life and even to others in an effort to safeguard against those troubles. So you don't have to have your head underwater for a long time in order to drown. There are certain things you simply, it's just not worth getting close to. You know, almost getting a chick pregnant, catching STDs, getting caught up in divorce court or family court, catching a domestic violence or sexual assault charge, so on and so forth. The longer you wait to acquire knowledge and experience, the more of a delay there is in terms of you applying said knowledge to create a meaningful result, and therefore the more you have to possibly lose. Don't wait until your wealth and resources have matured in your later years to learn things the hard way and end up losing it all, or missing out on opportunities because you were unprepared to seize them. Well, that's it for this segment. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel so that you may receive updates for new videos that I release. Please let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on this topic. Have you observed situations such as those described? Do you know someone that has dodged a nasty situation due to some knowledge that they acquired early on, which ended up making all the difference in their life? Just let me know what's up. Until next time.